Welcome to the Spirits, Angels, and Guides Oh My podcast,
where the supernatural gets real, baby.
What if the thing blocking your mediumship isn't your ability, but your fear of being wrong?
And what if learning to trust your voice is actually part of how Spirit's training you?
Today, babies, we're talking about confidence, self-trust, and why Spirit does not need you to be perfect. Amen. Just present.
And how clarity comes after courage, not before.
Okay, let's get into it.
Nice.
This is Spirit, Angels, and Guides. Oh my! I'm Tara Diana.
And I'm Nancy Christine Brady.
And today we're diving into building your confidence in your mediumship voice. And this is something Nan and I know so much about. This is what we call lived experience, babies. I want to start by saying something out loud that a lot of developing mediums quietly think. And Nan and I see this all day, every day in mentorships and the other work that we do. The question is, what if I'm wrong? What if I am mother fluffin' wrong? What if the evidence doesn't match? What if the name is wrong? What if I get it, it's a male, but it's a female? All those things. What if I say the wrong thing, feel it wrong, interpret it wrong? This fear will shut people down faster than your head can spin. I swear it.
Absolutely. It really does. People wait for certainty before they speak.
Nancy and I talk a lot about trusting the process, right, Nan?
Yeah, we do.
And that's got like 300 million podcast episodes we could do on trusting the process and how to get there and all that. Because Spirit doesn't communicate in certainty, right? Mm-hmm. So when Nan is sitting in her power and she's getting messages, they will come in differently. Spirit communicates in impressions and sensations and emotions, flashes, fragments. And we are as the conduit, just allowing it to flow down and then being able to give it out. So if you're waiting as a newbie, as a medium or an intuitive that is like evolving and raising their frequency to do the work, if you're waiting to feel 100% confident before you speak, you will likely be waiting forever.
Truth.
Right?
And yeah. And that waiting can actually dull the connection, Tara.
Oh, yeah. I think let's just take a moment here and just remind everyone what a medium is actually doing when they're being of service. So, Spirit is the giver, right? The medium, so Nan and I, the other practitioners, are the conduit. We're like the pipeline, if you will. Mm-hmm. I always think of a plumber. Anyway, a pipeline. And then it's given to the receiver. So giver, conduit, receiver. That's how it flows, right? And we all do the work differently. So when I talked about those impressions and sensations, you're thinking of your clairs. I'm seeing, I'm feeling, I'm hearing, I'm knowing, smelling, and tasting. Whoa. And you might do one of those like hella good, right? Nan, what's your clair, baby?
I'm very clairsentient and claircognizant.
Those are my main. I'm a clair all, but those are the two that
I think we're all clair alls, but like the strongest ones, like starting out with my development. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I tend to, and this is what I think is a really great teaching moment. If you're good with this, Nan, is that the clair that you're the highest and most powerful in, the one you feel the most comfortable, that comes most naturally, do it. Don't worry about whether you can see Spirit or whether you feel it. Maybe that's what you really want to do, and that's great, and it will come eventually if you're not forcing it. But your confidence will be banging if you are sitting in the clair that works the best for you, because you're not going to be second guessing it. You're not going to be wondering how that all feels, right?
Yeah.
So that, and if you are trying to feel like, and confident has different levels too. Like Nan said, it will dull the connection if you're just sitting there waiting. She's not wrong, right? Mm-hmm. She's not wrong. You got to be able to give it, even if you're not feeling hella confident. it's not even about that. It is really about that ability to just say what comes through and trust the process. So let's talk a little bit, Nan, about the myth of being wrong. So we need to dismantle the idea that being wrong equals failure in mediumship.
Oh, absolutely. Because often it just means that the message needed translation or better understanding on how. I always call ourselves the telephone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're in between. So we need to translate sometimes, and that can be hard.
You call us a telephone, I call us a plumber, you know, a conduit. And here's the thing. Translation doesn't mean interpretation. This isn't about suddenly going from the right side of your brain to the left side of your brain, right? She's talking about being able to take the information that's being given and giving it to the individual so that they can understand it. So we're talking about timing and symbolism, a different layer of understanding, right? And remember, Spirit is not up there being like, oh, Nan, that was just fantastic. A+ girlfriend. Well done. Or Tara.
What? There's no repart cards from the other side?
No. Or Tara, what the shit was that? Who you talking to, girlfriend? Right? They don't do that up there. They're not here judging us. They're not here grading us. They're not here with even expectations of us, to be honest.
Right, exactly.
Right? So those report cards, I want a report card from the other side. I want someone to be saying, hey, we saw what you did down there. That was a banging reading. Anyway, oh my God. Okay, so let's go back to this. Development, for Nan and I, we had a long talk about this. Right? I mean, Nan and I have long talks about all sorts of things. We were talking about oxtail before we got on here. Anyway, I digress. Development is experimental, not intellectual. So you don't learn your voice by staying silent. Nan and I silent.
I know, that's very entertaining, that thought of us being silent.
You guys get the most gentle version of Nan. She is the funniest person, and she has a laugh that just goes on forever. So like, quiet for us, it's like saying, hey, why don't we go do a silent retreat?
Yeah. I don't think we could sit in silence that long.
I don't think I could get in the driveway and not be like speaking. So you learn to trust the process by speaking and listening, adjusting. Take that, please. Adjusting and trusting. I feel like that should be like a bumper sticker. You learn by speaking,
we really need a
listening,
bumper sticker company.
and trusting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Listening, trusting. Absolutely. And I think that, spirit responds to the willingness more than the accuracy, especially when we start out, because we're so enthusiastic and all we want to do is eat, live, breathe spirit communication all the time. Right?
And accuracy, I mean, is different. I don't even know how to say it when people say, are you accurate? Oh, that was accurate. There's so many ways to give a message, to receive a message. There's so many nuances into the message. And that's why when we talk about, like, you will have a million different teachers in your life if you're looking to develop this stuff. Okay? Yeah. You will have, and you should. You'll learn from Joe Blow that you went and watched, or you read a book over here, or you watched a YouTube, or you binged watched Nan and I. Thank you so much. You will learn something from all of us. But what you do with that is going to be different. And we have to remember, if I can just say this out loud, that every person sitting in front of you receiving from you is going to receive differently as well. So not only are you going to give it, not only does spirit come through differently, every spirit that connects with you, but you're going to receive it differently from every spirit that you get. And then you're going to give it, and then the person's going to receive it. And it's a lot when you think about it, of different parts in motion.
And Tara, if I can interject quickly, that's why I encourage people when I'm doing readings for them. I do a lot of my readings on Zoom. As you know, I work on Saturdays because I have a day job, whereas you do this full time. And I encourage people to, I record the Zoom for them and I send it to them, and I encourage them to listen to it again, because it's a lot when you're receiving a reading and you can only maybe hear every second, third word. And sometimes, the medium is delivering everything just as they're getting, and you might miss a beautiful message.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you ever get a reading with me in person, demand that we record it because you ain't getting that moment back, baby. Like if I talk fast, I move quickly. Um, I had the nicest message, Nan. I did platform work at the church, and this
Okay.
woman came up to me and said something I have never heard anyone say to me in my entire life.
Oh,
She said, Tara, I just wanted to tell you that you spoke so clearly and you enunciated. And I was like, me? I was like, thank you, because I get that rush.
yeah,
And then I spew. I'm
yeah,
quick. When
yeah.
she said that, I was like, is she talking to the right person? But I was like, so grateful. That was very cool to hear. She's like, I've seen other mediums and I can't understand what they're saying. I was like, okay, I think Spirit was trying to give me something there and I'm taking it.
It's all about enunciation, Tara.
And I can't even say like names right. Like you see me struggle on here. If you guys are watching me in any of the shows I do and stuff, and I'm like, oh, your name is Delaney? Is it Delaney? Is it Delaney? I don't know. But I spent like 30 minutes trying to like apologize for not saying a name right. Okay. We going back to this whole thing. Confidence doesn't come first. And
Yeah.
the reason we talk about trusting the process is that's building your confidence. Actually, when you
Mm,
think about the words trusting the process, you have to get there. Because the first thing someone will say to me if I say that is, well, how do you learn to do that? Well,
absolutely. Yeah.
by action. Action comes first,
Mhm.
then the confidence. Because the confidence is the result of showing up scared, nervous, anxious, and and then just doing it anyway, babies. Just doing it anyways.
That just reminds me of, and if I can share a story really quickly, of the first time. Tara is really good at taking people out of their comfort zone and pushing you. And I had not done platform work, and she's like, "Come do it, give it a try, see if you like it." And I'll tell you, I showed up scared, but I did it anyways, and it was great.
And she was
It was
good. And she was good.
oh,
You learn as you go, right? Like that. I cannot remember how I got into platform work, when I started it. I don't remember any of that. It was that long ago. But you learn as you go. And the people you surround yourself with, your biggest fans, as long as they're not blowing smoke up your butt, and
yeah.
they're being honest with you, and they're saying, I will be the first person to say, hey, that felt a little performative. That was a little dramatic. What was that all about? Because that didn't feel spirit to me. And if you can't take that, if you get defensive, then that's not, you're not ready to do the work.
Mm,
You're not
yeah.
ready to do the work.
It's called constructive criticism, constructive
Hmm. No
feedback,
one's coming
right?
at you, or no one should be. No one
Yeah, that's
should
a
be.
whole other podcast. That's a whole other podcast.
Someone write that down. Okay, so if you are showing up scared and doing it anyway, I'm like here for it because Spirit already
Mhm.
knows where you're unsure. Remember,
Yeah.
Spirit never fails us. They don't
Never.
need you to be polished. Like how many people have told me over the years that they start calling in Spirit before they even get to the platform, and I'm like, how do you even do that? Like what? Wait,
You
what?
know, I used to do that when I first started. I did that too. I had all these rituals, um, and now I'm at a point because I'm confident and I'm trusting and I'm sitting in the moment that I just flip the switch on and go. But for me, that was a security blanket. That just kind of it was for my human more so I think than my spirit connection, if
Yeah,
that makes
I
sense.
guess. And I never had that. I never started trying to reach it. Sometimes spirits would come to me and be like, hey, we'll see you tonight. And I'd be like, go away. I'm not working right now. But you know what I mean? But
Yeah, yeah.
what spirit really needs from you when you're doing this work. And again, we're talking a little bit about platform because platform is the scariest part of evidential mediumship that you're going to likely do. Sitting one-on-one can
Yeah.
be very comfortable once you get the hang of it. Once
Yeah.
it can be actually the easiest and most comfortable. But what spirit needs from you, honestly, is not to be perfect because there is no such thing as perfection. They need you to
No.
be open. You have to
Yeah.
be open to receive.
And honest, open and honest.
And that's a great conversation right there, my nanny boo. Is that I talk a lot about this. I'm running a group mentorship for mediumship right now, And one of the things I said is, please don't be the person who stands on platform or in a reading and the message isn't hitting. It happens, babies, it happens. And you are
All of us.
trying to make it fit. Because
Yeah.
I will know, the reader or the receiver will know that you've left the right side of the brain. You're no longer connected. It's your ego trying to make it fit. So honesty would be, in my terms, and tell me if you agree, Nan, honesty would be in a reading for me, I'm not connected anymore. I feel like this is not for you. So let's put it on a shelf and let's move on to the next portion of the reading.
100%. 100%. Or even if they're not getting it, like often stuff will come through and I'll just deliver it and they'll go, this doesn't make any sense. I'll go, it doesn't have to, just set it aside. It might make sense later, and if it doesn't, that's okay too. And then move to the next thing. Like, don't let it stagger you in the reading.
And when you do that portion of it, friends, say it with confidence. Be like, okay, yeah, this happens. We're just going to put it on the shelf, and it will more than likely come back to you when I'm not babbling at you, when you've had time to process. You will understand this, and more likely than not, you will get an email, a call, a text, something, social media post that says,
always.
oh, yeah, I got it. I got it. So that's good.
Almost always.
Saying things like, I'm not sure why this matters yet, but I'm being shown, or this feels symbolic rather than literal. That's not weakness. That's integrity. That's you saying that you don't have all of it. You can't change it to make it fit. Mm-hmm. And this is as much as you can give at this time.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why this matters yet, but I'm being shown this. Sometimes, because remember, as mediums, we don't need to understand the message.
No, and I think that's a big part, Tara, if we can just kind of talk about that for a second. We're here just to deliver it. And I find developing mediums, and I know I did it in the beginning too, I really wanted to understand what the heck they were talking about. We're not here to do that. That's why I call myself the telephone. I'm just here as the tool to deliver the message. That's it. I don't need to understand it.
Exactly. That is where everything gets all like mumble jumbled. And, being able to as well put in something like, this feels symbolic rather than literal. So, take this for what it is, allows that person a moment to realign. Not you as the medium. It allows the receiver a moment to realign and sit in the process of, okay, oh, I get that. Because remember, Spirit's always giving you the information in a way that you can give it easily. So a little bit of the way you would understand it if it was for you. You don't have to understand it for them. And then they would be like, oh, you know what? I always talked about, buttering the bread on both sides, that kind of thing. I didn't know where that came from. Who butters bread on both sides unless you're having no, and you still don't butter on both sides. Anyway.
You were going to go with grilled cheese, weren't
yes!
you?
Yes, ma'am. I was so. Okay, so again, to me, that's not weakness. That's you being powerful in your work, being able to in the moment, be able to be like, this feels literal. This doesn't feel like, you got to listen to this from the literal place of it, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's powerful. When we can move in and out like that, that's powerful to me. So,
Agreed.
Where fear actually comes from in mediumship is not from Spirit, babies. Let me say that louder. Spirit never fails us. So if Spirit never fails us, if you're having an issue, it's a you thing, baby, not a Spirit thing. So it comes from people, just like I said. Fear of judgment, fear of disappointing someone, fear of being seen as foolish, but most importantly, fear of being wrong.
Oh, especially if someone learned early to second guess themselves, because it's so hard to get out of that.
Ooh, and second guessing, that's why one of the tools that I teach, or the exercises we do in development, is the quick. Okay, I'm going to give you something, give me the answer now. You waited 2 seconds, too late. Next, we're on to the next person. We'll try again the next round. Because you have to be able to keep moving, because Spirit's going to keep giving. And if you're stopping and you're like, there's so much
you're dipping into the right brain to look for the answer rather than giving it just as the telephone.
And it actually feeds lack of confidence into the room.
Yes.
Right? Like, I don't know. It's okay to say to spirit, oh, can you give me something more, please? Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then you give something more. But the longer you stand up there, and I learned this again many moons ago, baby, when we were all like in a different headspace. But I learned that if you're on platform and you stand there blank, you've got, let's just say, 40 pairs of eyes on you, and they know that you've lost the room. They know it. So even when you get the room back, you've lost the audience.
Yeah.
So, second guessing, exactly. When spirit communicates subtly, the nervous system reacts, not because spirit feels unsafe, but because being seen does.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Like those 40 pairs of eyes on you, that's 80 eyeballs all ogling you while you're standing up on platform, and all of them wanting something from you.
And hoping and praying but yeah, as a human, exactly. And as a human, it's very unnerving to stand in front of a bunch of people, especially a lot of people. The number one fear is public speaking. And in mediumship, you're not just public speaking, you're actually delivering messages from spirit. So you got a double whammy there.
And I know a lot of mediums that have taken public speaking. I thought about it, and then I literally from spirit, I heard them say, why? You don't need that.
You're very entertaining on platform. Like, I remember when we were downtown Vancouver and we were at that big event, and you had the audience the whole time from start to finish. Tara's really good because she delivers these intense messages, and then she kind of lets the audience breathe for a bit. I'll call it the audience. And then she'll deliver a couple funny things to lighten the mood and raise the vibration, and then she gets back to the messages. It's a beautiful flow you have.
Aw, thank you, boo. Again, it's natural. So for me, there was at the beginning a little bit of that who's judging me feel. And once in a while, there is a lot, I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to tell you all a secret. The spiritual community can be very competitive.
Oh, I think human beings as a whole are very competitive, but it never does cease to amaze me, whatever area I'm in, whether it be animal rescue or spiritual development. It's a bit crazy. There's a lot of competitiveness.
And the worst thing about it is that they'll hide it under some kind of spiritualism. That's why I always say, do not use spiritualism as an excuse for bad behavior.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, podcast 397,45,000 down the road. We are
Tara's trigger 600,085.
Oh my gosh, this is when we have reincarnated back in like what, year 3010. Okay, so if being seen feels unsafe, that is definitely a human thing. Right? Mm-hmm. Mediumship development is emotional development. It's not really, well, it is learning to hear spirit, but it's not just learning to hear spirit. You're learning to tolerate, hear me out, trust.
Oof, say it again. That is big.
You're not just learning to hear spirit, my babies, my boos, Nan and I's. Nan, I think we have a fan club. Okay, but I'm going to stick to this. Not just learning to hear spirit, you're learning to tolerate trust.
And spirit understands that process. A lot of us can't trust ourselves on trust.
Oh, right? Yeah. That's a lot of trust.
But spirit understands that. They understand the process. They understand our human insecurities.
Absolutely, they do. So, finding your mediumship voice is not sounding like someone else. Your confidence isn't about sounding like someone else. Like, you don't want to be me. You don't want to be Nan. You may want to be Nan, but you don't want to be me. And you don't want to be, Teresa Caputo or Sylvia Brown or James Van Prague, all the people that cause me triggers. You don't.
100%. Because comparison is one of the fastest ways to lose the clarity over what you're doing and why you're doing it.
And that is truth. Like, I've been down that road. I've had moments, because I'm still human, where I was watching people's social media. I'm like, well, what the fuff? Why? What? What? I've had those moments, but then I sit down and I literally am like, yeah, but you do this. So keep going with what feels good for you. Just because they're doing that doesn't mean it. So we still have that little bit of competitiveness. And it's not in a nasty way. It is more like, oh, maybe I should be doing something like that. And then spirit comes in and slaps you around a bit and you carry on. Because your voice is shaped by who you are, your personality, your lived experience, your sensitivity. And I want to touch on this. I had a really strong moment, Nan, I told you about this, where I really wanted to do these mini meditations, like really just set you up in the morning, mini meditations. And so I put them together. I recorded them. I had my team put them out, and they put them out on my TikTok too. So I go into my TikTok and I'm like, what the fluff is this? They were so not me. They were so not me. They were these pink, and my team didn't do anything wrong, babies. Let me just say that. My team didn't do anything wrong. They followed my instructions.
Instructions, yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm looking at that, and I'm like, okay. I immediately called my scheduler, and I was like, take them all down. Take all those meditations down. That is not me. That is not authentic. That is not Tara. I don't know what I was trying to do there, but holy shenanigans, we got to start over. And I did. And now the flow, if you go to my YouTube, you will see that when I do those, I'm like in your face. I'm like, okay, babies, this is our moment. Let's take a moment, take a breath in. Okay, this is what you need to know today. That's me.
Yeah, it's more your flavor and more who you are. And so it again, I wouldn't be so hard on yourself, because you are, for those of you who know human design out there, Tara and I are both manifestor generators, and so Tara is constantly and myself coming up with 1,000 bazillion ideas, and not all of them are great, but that's okay. That's part of testing the water and then going, no, you know what, I'm getting back to authentically me. Right?
I wish I would have been recording that so we could all go back and look at the look on my face when I saw those TikToks and how it flowed into my TikToks. And I was just like, I literally was convulsing. So again, your voice is shaped by who you are, babies. Your personality, your lived experience, your sensitivity, and spirit chose you because of that. Chose you to be active in this work, to develop, to grow in this work. We can all do this, but spirit chose you because of that. So trying to sound spiritual, which is exactly what I was trying to do, instead of authentic, is where people got stuck. And if I can get stuck after like 20 odd years of doing this work, then it's still a thing we have to be reminded about.
Oh, yeah, because we're a soul having a human experience, and part of it is testing the water. It's absolutely okay. It's just about getting back on track. Right? Remembering why you're doing it.
For real. So speaking before you understand, clarity comes often after you speak, not before. That is like, I feel like that's my motto. You know when they say speak before, or think before you speak? I'm like, blah. Oh. So I'm living this clarity comes after you speak, not before. Because spirit will give you pieces, not full explanations.
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of receivers are waiting for the full explanation, which puts a lot of pressure on a medium. So when you say it out loud, the next layer arrives.
Yes.
Waiting until you understand will absolutely block the flow. And in everyday life, you might not want to follow that rule, but in spiritual work, you do.
Yeah, because spirit is building through engagement.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, silence doesn't refine your voice. Use does, right? You got to be heard. So,
absolutely.
The other thing I do is I take on some of Nan's mannerisms. I have taken to singing everything in my life now. I was upstairs. I sang to Doji when I came in. I sang to Sam. And my husband says, you didn't sing to Honey. And all I was singing was like, hello, my little doggies. I could have said, hello, dogs. But no, I have to do a Nan. Okay.
Well,
so
I'm glad I'm rubbing off on you.
all over me, baby. All over me. Okay. Practical refrain from fear for me is, instead of asking, what if I'm wrong? I ask, what if Spirit is teaching me through this moment? What am I learning?
Yeah, and that reframe can change everything.
Agreed. And I think it's an excellent way to really be able to hone your skill set, because fear stops being a stop sign and becomes a signal of expansion. Okay, what am I learning from this? And I had that happen again on platform, given a reading. Woman wouldn't take it. Spirit would not let me give up on her. I had to get back up twice because she wouldn't take it. And Spirit's like, go. It is for her. It is for her. Don't stop. And I would never normally do that, Nan, because that to me is trying to make something fit. But instead of trying to make it fit, Spirit just kept giving me more and more and more.
And did she eventually take it?
You know, I'll tell you something. She did, but I literally had to give it to her piece by piece again.
Okay.
Piece by piece. Do you know someone who has adopted children in your family?
Yeah.
Yes, my aunt. Okay. But you said mother, she said. But you said mother energy is your... And that's where people, again, guys, get stuck on, okay, she's talking about my mom, but my mom's still alive, so this isn't for me. But an aunt who adopted children has mother energy. It gets convoluted a little bit, and you have to be able to work with that. And Spirit would not let me back down.
Yeah.
So let's do a little exercise here for a second. I want you guys, Nanny, I want you guys to think of a time when you knew something intuitively. Nan's like, oh my God, what time do I pick? And later realized you were right. I want you to notice how that knowing that, oh my God, I was right, felt in your body. For me, it will always be a tingle. What's it for you, Nan?
For me, I definitely, it's tingles as well. I get a lot of goosebumps.
Yeah, goosebumps. Goosebumps is a really good one. And I always go, oh, look at my goosebumps. But I got sleeves and no one can see my goosebumps through the tattoo. So it's always like, oh yeah, she's got goosebumps.
Yeah, so most people will notice it, but it's not a loud thing, right? It doesn't necessarily have to come just as goosebumps. It can be anything. It can be feeling a spider webs across your face. It could be just even a feeling in your gut.
It could just be, oh my God, I did it. Yay, I knew, right? It could be anything. So, and for me, that feeling hasn't changed. Right? That feeling hasn't changed. And if doubt comes, it'll come after. And the next time Spirit comes in and asks, does this feel like the same knowing? That's going to be your baseline. Your feeling won't change. So when you figure that out, when you go back to this exercise and you're like, okay, I knew this intuitively and I was absolutely right about it. What did I feel? Okay. And you guys might have to practice this. You might be like, oh, I don't know what I felt. It happened before. Sit with it. Trust us on this. It works. That feeling won't change. The doubt will come after, or you're not even consciously aware of it. Maybe it's even a better way. So the next time Spirit comes in, ask, does this feel like that same knowing? Because that will be that baseline for you, and it will give you something to work with.
Yeah.
So if Spirit trusted you enough to come through you, in my personal belief, you can trust yourself enough to speak.
Absolutely. Confidence doesn't mean certainty.
It means willingness and not perfection. We aren't striving for perfection, babies, because you'll be striving all day, every day. It's presence.
Absolutely.
So on that note, Nan, I think we just did a stellar podcast. Pat you on the back, girlfriend.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for spending time with us.
And we'll see you next time
on Spirit, Angels, and Guides of My. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, share it with friends. We'd like to spread our wisdom and knowledge from Spirit with others. And follow us on all our platforms, Nancy Christine Brady and Spirit Essence by Tara Diana. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into the wonderfully weird and metaphysical.
If you loved what you heard, don't forget to follow us for more insights and behind-the-scenes fun.